Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex Radford. I'm an English lawyer and Spanish lawyer with my law in Spain. Today, we're going to be talking about the taxes that you'll have to pay when you sell your Spanish property as a Spanish tax resident. And to help me with that, with the answers to some of the questions that I'm sure you will have, is my tax colleague Pedro from our Ciudad Quesada office. Hello, Pedro.
Hello, Alex. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Very good. Thanks for coming on board. So, Pedro, this is the key question. I'm a Spanish tax resident. I'm selling my property. How much capital gains tax do I have to pay in Spain? And what would the tax rate be?
Okay, so in case of residents that sell a property in Spain, okay, they need to declare that profit in their annual income tax return. Okay, the income tax is declared the next year that you obtain your income, which means, for example, that you declared your income 2024 in 2025. The tax return is declared from April to June of each year. Okay, and the tax rates of the capital gain tax depends on the profit. Okay, as high as is the amount of the profit, okay, the large is going to be the tax rate. Okay, currently there is a scale, a proportional scale, okay, and the minimum tax rate is 19%, and the highest rate currently is 27%.
Wow, 27%. So I'm selling my main residence, and if I make a whopping gain, I could pay 27%. Okay, so give me some good news, Pedro. What costs can I deduct?
Okay, so we have 5 blocks. The first block will be notary and land registry fees that you pay, okay, both in the purchase and in the sale of the property. So if you have any kind of invoices for those professionals related to the purchase or the sale, that can be deductible, okay? The second block is lawyers' fees, okay? So any fee that you pay to your lawyers regarding the purchase or the sale of the property are deductible, okay? You have estate agent, the third block is estate agent fees, and they are also deductible. The fourth block is taxes. So taxes paid in the purchase or in the sale of the property are deductible. For example, in the case of purchase, transfer tax, stamp duty tax, or VAT are deductible. And in the sale of the property, it will be deductible the plusvalia tax. Okay, and the 5 blocks will be extensions and improvements made on the property.
Okay. And so, for example, could I, I've repainted the property, I put a new bathroom in and a new kitchen. Those costs deductible?
So in principle, this kind of renovations will not be deductible because, as said, they are simple renovations, okay? They are not improvements. It will be arguably to ask the taxman that if you have used, for example, higher quality materials, or you have put white goods that they were not there before you start the renovation, we can try to argue with the taxman that there is an improvement, okay, and those costs will be deductible. However, you need to bear in mind that the taxman is not very willing to accept those kind of costs as deductible, so you will need to prepare for a battle probably.
So basically, we'd have to consider whether or not to submit the invoices for certain white goods. But if we haven't improved the property, then in effect.
Yeah, let me put you an example. For example, if you change your air conditioning in the living room, that is not deductible. But if in the living room you didn't have an air conditioning and you put a new one, that's an improvement and it's deductible.
So basically, another question that some clients ask is, I extended the property with planning permission from the town hall, and of course I incurred expenses in doing that. Would that be a deductible expense?
Yes, that will be deductible. That will be deductible. If, for example, you build, I don't know, a new terrace, a new porch, a new swimming pool, those costs will be deductible because it's an extension of the property and that improves the value of the property.
And when do I have to pay my Spanish capital gains tax, Pedro?
Well, as said before, the tax return needs to be submitted from April to June of the next year. Okay, so that will be the period you have to declare your taxes.
And if I buy another property, can I roll my gain over?
This is very important, a very important concept. If what you are selling is not your habitual residence, there is no exemption. There is no allowance, okay? if it is your habitual residence, we need to distinguish between if you are over 65 years old or if you are less than age. Okay, if you are over 65 years old, in that case, if you sell your habitual residence, there is no capital gains to be paid. Okay, it needs to be your habitual residence at least the last 3 years.
Yeah.
At least the last 3 years.
I'm over the age of 65. It's my main residence, and I'm selling that. I'm making a gain, but because I've been a tax resident here for the last 3 years, I wouldn't pay any tax on that.
That's correct. Yes.
Let's just say I'm 66 and I've been there for 3 years.
Mhm.
Does it matter? So long as I'm over 65, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Right.
You need to be 65 at the time of declaration of the tax.
Okay. So 65 when I sell the property.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. And then if I'm younger than 65, which of course I am, thank you very much.
So if you are younger than 65 years old, there is also a possibility to avoid pay taxes, okay, which is to reinvest the money that you obtain in the sale in your new habitual residence. Okay. So for example, if I sell a house for 200,000 euros and I reinvest that money and I buy a property for 300,000 euros, the capital gain that I obtain in the sale is not taxable. It's exempt of paying taxes. Okay. However, if you only reinvest part of the money, for example, you are going to buy a property that is cheaper, okay, then the exemption will be only partial. For example, if I sell the house again for 200,000 euros and I reinvest 100,000 euros in purchase the new habitual residence, I will be reinvesting 50% of the monies that I have obtained in the sale. And that will mean that 50% of the profit that I have obtained in the sale of my property will be exempt of paying taxes, and the rest will be taxable.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you ever so much for that. We have recorded another video about improvements and extensions, that a whole list of items that could be deductible on our other YouTube videos. So please do have a look at that. But other than that, today we've talked about selling as a resident, and thank you very much, Pedro.
Thank you, Alex.